Okay, so this is for episode 6, I believe, of our podcast. And the first thing that I wrote down was that the officers took Jesse out somewhere to beat him and then leave him. I'm pretty sure they left him, but they took him out somewhere and then beat him. Um I just thought that was interesting because that was yeah. And then the next one is that it was like some quote that someone said, and I think it was an officer that said it was a tactic I had seen before. Take a guy out of cuffs and get him to stop running his mouth. Um, I also thought that was interesting because that's just that analogy is just interesting. I don't know. I've never heard that here, but um, then the next one is like I assume that he was having PTSD when he was giving the what was it, like the news reporter a run through of what happened, and he saw the truck at the bottom of the hill. He saw it somewhere. He saw a truck that was the same one as the one that he had been like that he got taken to the park or something in, and that was the night that he got beat. But um he thought it was the same people, so they went to go investigate him and the reporter, and it had been some other officer eating lunch. So I don't know. I just assume it's some pretty bad PTSD, but it kind of was sad because it wasn't who he thought it was, and he was still freaking out pretty bad because of how bad the situation was for him. And then the next part is that someone kept calling Jesse. Oh yeah, the officer. He kept calling Jesse and was like, "Oh, don't take this to court. Don't take this to court." Um, I forget the officer's name, but they were calling to tell Jesse not to take the officer who had assaulted Jesse to take to court. Um, and that the station was super. I don't even know what the word is, but they didn't keep track of anything. They didn't keep track of the statistics or what was it? Yeah, the crime statistics. And I think they also didn't keep track of complaints or disciplinary complaints. So when someone, I think the news reporter, went in to go ask for them, the station was like, "Oh, we don't provide those." And so he didn't leave with any, and then he kept asking for some, and then he had finally gotten, it was 3 out of 85 officers that had worked there in the last 2 years. He'd gotten 3 of their like complaints of against officers, or again complaints against 3 officers in that station. Um, and then my next point is that their city was the poor city in Ohio that the roads had really big bad potholes that they called them craters because they were so bad, and they had to drive all over the sidewalk just to keep their car for the most part intact. And later down the road, it was the 4th of July and Jesse had gotten assaulted, and there was body cams, but it was mentioned that it was dark, so it wasn't easy to see what was going on. And the cop who pulled up to the situation had started accusing him, Jesse, of stuff that wasn't going on, but you couldn't see, so you couldn't tell what was actually going on. And then they ended up, I think, using that against Jesse, but I don't remember. And then um my last point is how Jesse woke up with a list charges while he was still in the hospital, and he didn't really know what they were for the most part. And then um he ended up being put in the same locker as Arnold that we heard about um the middle of this episode, and the horrible stuff that Arnold went through being stuck in that locker. But I just think it's crazy because I hate to say it, but I think they are fully aware of what they were doing, and they were just taking advantage of the situation because they're what was it, their city is so small, so they can't sue or get sued because they have no money to dish out. So I don't know, but that's it for this week's